I graduated college. No one showed up. My cousin passed a driving test full party. I'm not really sure where to put this, but I just need to get it off my chest. Maybe someone out there has been through something similar. Last weekend, I graduated college. First in my immediate family. 4 years of pushing myself, working 2 part-time jobs, pulling all-nighters, fighting burnout, crying in bathroom stalls between classes, emailing professors at 2 a.m. asking for deadline extensions I hated needing. You get the idea. And I made it. Graduated with honors. I even got a departmental award that I didn't even know I was in the running for. It was supposed to be a big moment. Not just for me, but for my family too. I thought it was. Invited everyone weeks in advance. Texted the group chat, made sure they had the time and place. My mom knew, obviously, we lived together. My dad lives a few towns over, and even though we're not super close, I made sure to tell him too. Aunts, uncles, cousins. I wasn't expecting banners and balloons. Just faces, familiar ones in the crowd, a quick hug after. Maybe a "we're proud of you." The ceremony came. I walked across that stage. My name got called. I looked into the audience, trying to find anyone, who looked like they were there for me. There was no one. Afterward, I checked my phone. No congrats texts, no missed calls, nothing. Just a couple of Snapchats from friends who were posting their own grad pics. I stood in my gown outside the auditorium, clutching the little fake diploma they hand you before the real one arrives in the mail, and I just kind of stood there. Eventually, I took an Uber home. In the back seat, I changed out of the gown and heels into jeans and a hoodie, feeling ridiculous for dressing up in the first place. The driver tried to make small talk, big day, and I lied. Just a formal thing, I said. When I got home, the house was quiet. My mom was out. I assumed maybe she had to work late or something. She's a nurse, and her schedule been brutal lately. I wasn't mad. Just disappointed, in that numb way you get when your expectations don't even make it off the ground. I ordered pizza, sat on the couch, scrolled Instagram. That's when I saw the stories. My cousin, same age as me, give or take a few months, had passed his driving test. That same day. And my aunt had thrown him a full-on party. Backyard barbecue, string lights, a congrats. Cake with little plastic cars on it, the whole family there. Laughing, dancing, taking selfies with him, holding up his temporary license like it was a Grammy. I saw my mom in one of the photos, standing behind the grill with a drink in her hand, smiling. That was the moment it hit me. They didn't forget. They chose that. I sat there staring at my screen, watching the little Instagram story replay over and over, like I was trying to make sense of it. Like maybe if I looked at it enough times, it would change. That the smile on my mom's face would fade. That someone would notice I was missing and say, "Wait, where's my name?" No one did. It wasn't even a milestone birthday or a wedding or anything, just a driver's license. Something literally everyone gets. And don't get me wrong, good for him. Genuinely. He's a sweet kid. I've babysat him more times than I can count, helped him with his math homework, even let him practice driving my car once when his parents were busy. But that night, it felt like the universe straight up confirmed something I had suspected for a long time. I just don't matter to them the same way. I know how that sounds. Bitter, jealous, like I'm making a big deal out of nothing. But it wasn't about the party or even the fact that it was for him. It was about the choice, the deliberate choice to be there and not here. I felt it like a weight in my chest, like something inside me had cracked quietly, in a way you don't notice right away, but you know you'll never really be able to fix. My mom came home around 11:30. She walked in carrying a foil-wrapped plate of food and a helium balloon that said, "You did it." She put both on the counter and smiled at me like nothing was weird. "I brought you a burger," she said, like it made up for everything. I didn't even know where to begin, so I just said, "Where were you?" She blinked. "At Laura's, you knew that." "Right," I said, "at the party." She hesitated. "Well, yeah." "Did you forget I graduated today?" The silence after that was long enough to hear the fridge humming. "I didn't forget," she said finally. "I just thought it wasn't a big deal to you." "A big, Mom, I sent out invites." "I thought you just wanted the ceremony. You know you hate big things. You always say you don't like attention." "I don't like attention from strangers, Mom. That's not the same as not wanting my own family to show up." Her face changed then. That pinched, defensive look she always gets when she feels cornered. "I'm sorry, okay? I didn't mean to make you feel left out. That's the thing, though. You didn't make me feel anything. You just weren't there again." I wasn't yelling. I didn't even raise my voice. But she looked at me like I'd slapped her. Then she sighed like she was the one who was tired. "You know how close Laura and I are. She asked for help setting up, and you always say you don't care about this kind of stuff." "I graduated college, Mom." She didn't say anything. First one in the family. Nothing. So, what, a driver's license is more impressive? "Don't twist it like that," she snapped. "It's not a competition." "It didn't have to be. You made it one." She grabbed her purse. "I'm not doing this right now." And just like that, she went upstairs. I sat on the couch long after she disappeared upstairs. The balloon floated lazily by the kitchen light, bobbing with the AC. "You did it," it said, but it didn't feel like I did. It felt like I tried. Like I've been trying for a long time, and no one noticed. And the thing is, this wasn't new. When I was 12, I won first place in a science fair. Built this whole working model of a wind turbine. I remember being so proud of it, stayed up late for days figuring out how to get the damn thing to spin with real voltage readings. My science teacher made such a big deal out of it. Called home, sent a certificate. Nobody came to the award night. That same weekend, my cousin, a different one, not the driver, had a little league game, and my whole family showed up with folding chairs and snacks. I sat in the bleachers behind them. No one noticed I was even there until my aunt said, "Oh wow, you came. Aren't you the smart one who did that windmill thing?" It wasn't windmill thing. It was a wind turbine. It generated electricity. But sure. And there was high school, when I got into the advanced literature program that only 5 students per year were picked for. I came home with the acceptance letter, practically vibrating. My mom glanced at it, said, "Oh, nice," and then started talking about how my cousin had finally passed his math class after 3 retakes. Everyone went out for ice cream to celebrate that. I stayed home, told them I had homework. Maybe I thought that by the time I finished college, for God's sake, things would be different. That they'd finally see me not just as the quiet one, the one who doesn't make a fuss, who doesn't need anything. But I think that's exactly why they don't notice. Because I've learned to live without being noticed. I was always the one who didn't complain, who didn't act out, who made her own dinners if mom was working late, who figured out FAFSA on her own, called advisors, made spreadsheets of deadlines. They didn't need to check in because I had it handled. But God, it would have been nice if they had, just once. I scrolled back through my cousin's party photos again, watched the short videos of everyone dancing to that same tired top 40 playlist they always use at family barbecues. They looked happy. It didn't even look like anything was missing. Not even me. That's the part that hurt the most. I don't know how long I sat there, maybe an hour, maybe more. Just me and that damned balloon swaying softly in the corner. I didn't cry. Not because I wasn't sad, but because I'd already cried enough over things like this. You eventually hit a point where it just calcifies. And that's when it really sunk in. I had spent so much of my life chasing the idea that if I just worked hard enough, if I was impressive enough, I'd earn love, recognition, attention. As if it was a transaction, I give excellence, they give care. But love doesn't work like that, or at least it shouldn't. And still, some childish part of me wanted to believe they just didn't realize how much it mattered. That if I just explained it clearly enough, calmly enough, this time they'd get it. Maybe they'd even apologize. But I also knew better. I picked up my phone and, without thinking too much, texted my best friend Leela. "You up?" She replied immediately. "Always, what's wrong?" A few minutes later, we were on FaceTime. My face showed up in the little rectangle, washed out in the kitchen light. Her room was dim, just the glow of her laptop and a lava lamp in the background. "Hey," she said softly, "what happened?" "I graduated today," I said, "and no one came." Her face shifted instantly. The kind of look you only get from someone who's been in the trenches with you. "Oh no, are you serious?" "Yup, not even your mom. She was at a party for my cousin. He got his license." Leela blinked. "Wait, that cousin," I nodded. "Dude," she said, sitting back, "that's messed up." "Yeah," I said, "I know." There was a pause, not awkward, just full. The kind where someone's letting the silence hold the weight of what you just said. "You want to come over?" she asked. "We can eat trashy snacks and talk shit." I smiled, the first real one in hours. "Thanks, but I'm too tired to move." "Okay, then I'm coming to you. I'll bring Doritos and ice cream, and we're watching Legally Blonde. You need Elle Wood's energy right now." "I really do." Before she hung up, she said, "Hey, I'm proud of you, like genuinely, you did something huge. And I know it sucks that the people who were supposed to celebrate that didn't, but it doesn't make it any less real or any less amazing." I blinked hard. "Thanks, I needed that. You always deserve to be seen, girl, always." She hung up. I sat there holding the phone, heart feeling a little less heavy, just a little. Then buzz, a new text from my aunt. The one who threw the party. "Hey, sweetie, hope your graduation went great. Sorry we couldn't make it, everything got hectic with Jake's test. You know how it is, we'll do something soon." That smiley face nearly made me throw my phone across the room. You know how it is? No, I really don't. Because if I had a daughter and she graduated college, I would move heaven and earth to be there. I don't care how hectic things got. I don't care if the dog was sick or if the lawn was on fire. You show up when it matters. By 12:07 a.m., Leela was knocking on my door with a crinkly plastic bag full of chaotic snacks from 7-Eleven. A giant bag of nacho cheese chips, 2 melting pints of ice cream, one of which was vegan even though neither of us is vegan, just in case, and a bottle of Dr. Pepper because it's basically childhood in liquid form. She walked in without ceremony, kicked off her sneakers like she'd lived here forever, and made a beeline for the kitchen. We set up a blanket fort on the living room floor, turned off all the overhead lights except for my little desk lamp, and queued up Legally Blonde on my laptop. Half an hour in, I was laughing, genuinely. The kind that shakes your ribs and makes your eyes water, part from joy and part from something deeper finally letting go. For the first time all day, I didn't feel invisible. I didn't feel like a background character in my own story. You know, Leela said around a mouthful of Sour Patch Kids, if Elle Woods can get into Harvard after being dumped, you can absolutely become a badass with or without your family's validation. I mean, Elle Woods had a dog and unlimited credit cards, I said. Yeah, but you've got brains and trauma, which is basically the same thing. We both laughed again, but quieter this time, softer. There was a moment where she looked at me, serious now, and said, "You really are amazing. I wish your family saw it. But I'm telling you, the right people will, even if they're not related by blood." Something about that hit me harder than it should have. We fell asleep on the floor somewhere around 3 a.m., limbs tangled in blankets, and the soft blue Netflix pause screen casting shadows on the walls. The next morning, I woke up groggy and puffy-eyed. My head felt foggy from lack of sleep and sugar overload, but I had work at 10, a part-time admin gig at the campus library I'd held since sophomore year. I showered quickly, threw on a hoodie and jeans, and caught the bus. Still a little emotionally numb, I walked into the staff room to drop off my bag and clock in. And there, on the little table we used for lunch breaks and leftover donuts, was a small, square card with my name written on it. My first thought was that it was some kind of administrative note, but when I opened it, it said, "Congratulations, graduate. I saw your name in the newsletter and just wanted to say how proud I am of you. You've always been so dependable and kind here at the library. We'll miss you when you move on. Ms. Nguyen." Ms. Nguyen, one of the senior librarians, we chatted occasionally. She once lent me a copy of Beloved and said it was required soul reading. I never realized she even knew I was graduating. I just stood there holding the card, blinking. It was such a small thing, a folded piece of cardstock with a dollar store sticker on the front, but it felt like a mountain, because she noticed. Someone saw me, someone remembered, and she didn't have to. My chest tightened in that awful, beautiful way where you're not sure whether to cry or smile. I sat down in the break room, holding that card in both hands like it was fragile. And all I could think was, why is it always strangers who show up, when the people who should be closest don't even see you? I didn't make a conscious decision to pull away at first. It was small things. I stopped replying right away in the family group chat. When they sent another flood of pictures from Jake's first solo drive to an N-out, I didn't drop the usual "so proud" comment. I just left it on read. When my mom texted to ask if I was coming to a barbecue 2 weeks later, I said I had work. I didn't. I just didn't want to go. The thing is, when you stop showing up, people notice, but not always for the reasons you hope. 3 weeks after graduation, my cousin Emily, the only one who ever seemed half aware of what I was doing, called me out of the blue. "Hey, haven't seen you in forever," she said, upbeat. "You okay?" "Yeah, just been busy," I lied, even though I knew it didn't sound convincing. "You missed Mom's birthday thing. Everyone was wondering where you were." I said, "Didn't know I was expected." There was a pause. "You always come. Maybe I needed a break," I said, softer than I meant to. Emily didn't say anything right away, just the sound of her breathing through the phone. She said, "Is this about graduation?" That stung more than it should have. 'Cause yeah, it was, but it wasn't just about that. It was about everything that came before it. The build-up of all the tiny moments where I didn't matter quite enough, where I was loved but never celebrated, known but never fully seen. "It's not just that," I said. "But yeah, that was kind of the last straw," Emily sighed. "I'm sorry no one came, I really am. I didn't know it mattered that much." Let that sit for a second. That's the thing, it shouldn't have to matter so much for someone to just show up. It was a big day, and I spent it alone. "I know," she said, and I could hear the guilt in her voice. "I should have said something, I didn't think it through." "I know you didn't, none of you did." I didn't mean it to sound bitter, but it did. And maybe that was okay. Maybe I was allowed to let it sound how it actually felt for once. We talked a little longer, nothing deep. She promised to catch up over coffee sometime, and I said sure, knowing I probably wouldn't reach out. And then I let the silence grow. I didn't go to the next family event either. Or the one after that. My absence was no longer a blip, it was a pattern. My mom called me one night, voice strained. "I don't know what's going on with you lately," she said. "You're acting distant." "I am distant," I said. She didn't expect that. I could hear it in the way she exhaled. "Well, why? What did I do?" I didn't yell, I didn't cry, I just told the truth. "I graduated college, Mom. I wore the dumb hat and walked across that dumb stage and looked for you in the crowd. And you weren't there. None of you were, again." "That was Jake. Driving test," I finished for her. "Yeah, I know, and somehow that was more important." There was a long pause, so long I thought maybe she hung up, but then she spoke quietly. "We didn't think you care that much. You never made a big deal out of things." I swallowed, because I learned not to. because when I did, no one showed up anyway. The silence after that felt different, like something finally landed. "I'm sorry," she said, and for the first time I believed she meant it, but it didn't fix anything. It didn't undo years of being overlooked. It didn't plant balloons in my kitchen or fill an empty row of chairs in a crowd. It was just words, and I appreciated them, but I didn't reach for more. I just said, "Thank you," and let the conversation end there. It's been 2 months since graduation. I haven't gone no contact with my family. We still talk. My mom sends me reels of dogs in Halloween costumes. My aunt tags me in those "you were born to do great things" inspirational graphics. Emily and I finally did get coffee, and it wasn't awkward, just different. But things aren't the same. And I'm not pretending anymore. I don't drop everything to show up for people who don't show up for me. I stopped trying to earn what should have been given freely. The applause, the care, the pride, I don't chase it anymore. I don't over-explain or smooth things over just to keep peace. Somewhere along the way, I realized if you have to constantly prove your worth to someone, they're not your people. And that includes family. Graduating alone didn't break me. It woke me up. I still have work to do. Student loans, job applications, figuring out what kind of life I want to build now that school is over and real adulthood is staring me down. But one thing for sure, I'm not shrinking myself to fit in places I've already outgrown. I earned that degree. I walked that stage. And whether they clapped or not, I'm still here, still moving forward, and I'm not looking back.